Hey y'all, I'm Chris and this is It Worth It, y'all? And today we are gonna mess with some garlic and do a ton of other projects, but let me show you what we've already got started. I am working outside, so all this mess is not in my house. So we're taking the garlic that we hung up to dry and I am gonna preserve it in the refrigerator. So I gotta get it all peeled. So this is the project I've been working on so far this morning. And then Greg did all things planting garlic, and he brought over a bunch of leaves from his house to serve as mulch. So this whole raised bed is filled with garlic bulbs. Fingers crossed that it'll plant or grow because it was last year's seed. But, oh, and some of this year's garlic. So this is what it's gonna look like until August of next year. So fingers crossed we get garlic next year. So garlic is our first project of the day. Greg and I talked last night and he wants to do a bunch of canning projects on his own without any help. So that's gonna be next. If he wants to be recorded, that's cool. If not, I'll show you the end result whenever it's done. And then I have several projects that I wanna get started too, which that's what we're gonna get into next. All right, y'all, there we go. This is how much garlic we got out of those cloves that were the bulbs that were hanging. So now I'm going to preserve these and put them in the refrigerator. And this is so simple. So if you ever buy that big bag of garlic at like Costco or Sam's Club and you're like, you see the garlic bag and it's actually not that expensive. I think it's like 10 bucks and you get this big bag of garlic. So here's a pro tip. Buy that big bag of garlic, get you a mason jar, put all the garlic, maybe do pints or quart, whatever you think would work best for the size of your family. Dump all the garlic in there. The next thing you do, dump olive oil on top of it, stick it in the fridge. That's exactly what we're gonna do. Literally this easy, y'all. You are gonna wanna leave some headspace and debubble because stuff may expand. Okay, that's it, they're preserved. Crazy, huh? There's the new one. There's the old one. This one is probably 2 years old, still working on it. But you can see the garlic cloves in there. When you need to use one, you dig it out and chop it up and do what you need to do with it. So there we have it. Half of our 2024 garlic harvest submerged in olive oil and in the refrigerator so it can last us more than a year. Next on the agenda, Greg is going to make this recipe right here, easy jalapeno jelly. This is on page 127 of the Complete Book of Home Food Preservation. He's got a recipe going. I think that's what he's got the jalapenos for that one. I've got the leftovers right here that are thawed that need to have the seeds taken out. So yes, I know these aren't just jalapenos. There's all kinds of peppers in here, so it ought to be really, really good. So I'm going to put my gloves on and de-seed all these peppers. Not the most glamorous job, but needs to be done. So I'm moving on to the next thing. I've helped Greg chop as many unfrozen jalapenos as I can. They're all sitting over there. He's working on his jam recipe or jelly recipe. This is what I'm gonna do next. These are soup bones that I purchased off of a half a cow that I bought probably almost 2 years ago now. These are actual soup bones. And what I want to do is I'm going to take some of this meat off and probably just can it in our little electric canner because that's too much meat to make broth. And then what I'm going to do with the bones, we're going to roast the bones in the oven on 450 for a little while, get a nice good color of them, salt, pepper. Then we're going to put them in this pot with celery, onions, and carrots and some spices, so we can make beef broth because I'm going to be canning hamburger meat later and I need beef broth. So this is what we're going to do. And I mean, we need beef broth on the shelf too. So this is our next step. Obviously, salt, pepper, we're going to put them in the oven when Greg gets finished with his batch of jelly. And then we're going to start the long process of making beef stock. We've got all the meat cut off the bones, and this is what I'm gonna roast, and this is what I cut off. So I'm glad we did that because that's a ton of meat actually. We got the bones on a tray. It is lined with parchment paper because I do not want to clean this off of that pan. We got 3 pints of meat that we're gonna can up. And this is going into a 450 degree oven to be roasted both sides, and then we're gonna put them in the stock pot and keep rolling. All right, there's Greg's jelly. The only thing we omitted was the food coloring. That's supposed to make it like a brighter green, but I quite frankly don't want food coloring in my food, so I'm glad he opted not to do that. So there they are, and they are already starting to pop. That was 10 minutes in the water bath using the pressure canner as a water bath canner. Turned out great. All right, next on the list, we've got the 3 pint jars of meat that I pulled off of those soup bones that are currently roasting in the oven, and we're gonna use the same canner. You can see I emptied out the hot water and put cold water in because hot, 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 cold, cold, cold. So cold jars, cold product, cold water. Then we're gonna reset the canner as soon as I can figure out how to plug it in. I'm gonna put it on exhaust, and make sure whenever you're using your electric canner, just follow the instructions. So to a pressure can in this pressure canner, it needs 8 cups of water. Turn the lid on, put it to exhaust. We use high pressure. This is 75 minutes. When this counts down to 0, then I flip to airtight, and then it'll do its thing. So I only have one more thing to do, which is gonna be a minute because it's gotta heat everything back up now that I cooled it all off. So these guys are looking great. I think they've already all popped, and we're just doing a little cleanup, and I need to flip those bones because they actually look really good. Here are the bones roasted. I think they look great. The marrow has let loose, so this is what we were looking for. We want all of that nice bone marrow to come out whenever we turn the bones into stock. So I'm gonna let these sit here for a minute. I gotta finish cleaning up our last round of messes, and then we're gonna start this. I'm probably gonna do the broth outside just because it's really hot in here already. So I'll probably set up my stove outside and just let this sit all day, just doing its thing out there. I just think that'd be better than in here because it's pretty hot. So yeah, be right back as soon as I've got something fun for you to see. Check this out. So this is my carboy I was washing, but look what the soap did. I had it sitting here for a little while. It like coagulated or something in the jar. Isn't that crazy? Weird. Here we go. We got the bones in, we got water. I got 3 celery sticks, 2 onions, and you can't see them, but down there's 2 carrots. So that's all I've got in here for now. And then once we taste test it here in a couple hours, we'll see if we want anything else. I'll probably add salt and pepper, but we'll do that later. Have fun, little pot. I'm going back inside, it's hot. Hey y'all, good morning. Just got out of the shower. We did not get finished yesterday. I pooped out. So here's what we're gonna do this morning. Dishes are going, coffee is made. These 3 pans are gonna be used to start browning meat in the oven, and this is the bacon that I'm gonna cook up for the week. We bought a box of Sam's bacon. Hold on. There's the box. So we get a 10-pound box of Sam's bacon, and then I divide it up into 1-pound packages and put them in the freezer. So we're gonna split these 8 in between the 2 houses, and then here's all the hamburger meat I'm getting ready to put in that pan. All right, we got bacon going. I put all the hamburger in the 9x13 pans, and this was 13.5 pounds, and I put salt, pepper, and garlic powder on them. So we're gonna bake at 350. Instead of using a pan on the stove, we're gonna do everything in the oven. So that's just gonna free up my stovetop so I can continue doing the bacon, maybe make myself some breakfast, and my coffee's made, so it's time to make some coffee, or drink some coffee, and get this towel off my head. Okay, that was about a 15-minute cook. I've come in with my meat masher, mashed it all up, and we're gonna keep going. 15 more minutes. And the bacon is looking awesome. I do save my own bacon grease. If you don't have one of these, I highly encourage you to get one. This is a bacon grease saver, and it comes with a little screen, and then all the bacon grease ends up nice and clean in the bottom. I love mine. And then whenever this gets full, I transfer it to a quart jar and put it in my refrigerator until I'm ready to clean it. Just took some of the fat off of the grill. See, it's a little bit more empty now because I've still got a lot of bacon to go. I didn't want it to overflow, but that's what it looks like whenever it goes into the meat's coming along good, y'all. Got about 5 more minutes and we can turn that again. Almost done with the bacon. And while I have the oven on, I'm gonna go ahead and make my breakfast cups for the week. So we got an extra jumbo pan now, so now I can do all of them at the same time, which is way cool. So we'll, I gotta go get some eggs out of the basement. We'll get that done, get some cheese shredded, and make our cups. Look how nice this hamburger is. Yes, okay, that's the last set of bacon. I've still got the oven on because I'm gonna put these in, but the hamburger turned out great. We're gonna let that sit here for a minute. I've got cheese and salami in my cups. And I wanted to show you guys this. Remember when we water glassed eggs back on May 26th? I just opened it up and they look beautiful. The water's clear, there's no smell, and look, here they are. I'm gonna get a bunch out and we're gonna use these for our project today. And these have been sitting in my basement in the water glass with the lid on since May. So what's today? October, middle of October. So June, July, August, September, October. These are 5 months old. Almost to the day, actually. And yeah, so we're gonna use these for our recipe. I just wanted to kind of show you my process. So I had 18 eggs here. I do 3 eggs at a time because I find that each one of these jumbo cups takes 1.5 eggs. 2 eggs is a little bit too much. So what I do is I crack 3 eggs at a time, scramble, and then I go fill 2 cups. That's just about right. A little bit in there, a little bit in there. And there we go. And when those bake up, they'll fluff up real tall. 13.5 pounds browned in the oven while everything else was going. Got all the bacon cleaned up. We got 5 minutes left on these guys, which looks like they're gonna probably take more. I'm gonna go ahead and fix this. And then here's the grease that I drained off. I didn't drain all of it off, but I did run it through a colander to get most of the grease off. I just don't want that in my jar. So, hey look, towel's gone. The stock that I made yesterday, we're gonna get that out of the refrigerator, and so we can skim that layer of fat off the top, put that through the strainer, and then we're gonna start canning up our jars. And I'm gonna use a special jar this time because I don't want a pint and I don't want a quart. I want something in the middle. So we're gonna go get some special jars and see how far this will go. This looks and smells so wonderful. So this is the broth that we made. We got a little bit of fat on the top, but not a lot. So we are going to strain some of this off, and then we're going to start jarring up the beef. Oh, it looks and smells so good. My adult supervision is here. I have a bone. Do you want a bone? It's a beef bone. He's my picky one. I don't think he'll take it. Do you want it? How about I set it there? We'll see. Okay, here's what's left. Pile of bones. Carrots, celery, and the onions have disintegrated, so there's still life left in these bones, but I don't know that I'm going to do anything with them. Uh-oh. He has no idea what to do with that thing. Anyway, here's what's left. I'm just probably going to compost this. I just don't have anything I want to do. And then here is the broth that we got out of it, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Okay, next step, jarring up meat. Look how pretty. Look how pretty. We're gonna let those cool down, and then we will get them in freezer bags and get them in the freezer. These are the special jars we're gonna use. These are actually 1.5 pints. They come in a case of 9. They're 24 ounces. So they are tall and skinny. Same like width as a regular mount or a pint jar. There's a pint jar next to it. So they're very similar. They're taller And when we use these in recipes, we're gonna can at the quart time instead of the pint time because they have more volume. They're not as big as a quart, but they're not as small as a pint. So we're gonna use these jars to can all of this meat. All right, these guys are done. What's awesome about these cups is they slide right out of these cups. There's no difficulty getting these out. So this is breakfast / lunch for Greg for next week. All done. He might not get all of these. I might take snacks a couple because they are amazing. All right, so next on the list, we've had a bunch of pork in the freezer for a really, really long time, and it needs to be used. So I'm going to pressure cook the pork in the Instant Pot while everything else is going. We got the dance going on the jars. I'll show you what the jars look like whenever we come out of the canner. So we're gonna do the pork in here. We're gonna pressure cook the pork for 45 minutes, see what it looks like. If it needs to go a little bit longer, we'll let it go a little bit longer, and then I'm gonna go ahead and use the 24-ounce jars and can up pulled pork, pint and a half of pulled pork, just to get this out of the freezer and get it shelf stable, because we'll use pulled pork in a jar faster than we'll remember to take this out and thaw it out. So here's one more project, no big deal, right? Kitchen's already filthy, so I mean, you might as well, right? All right, first batch is out, and they are gorgeous. I love it. I think they look great. We still have, okay, this is another round of jalapeno jam, just like Greg made yesterday. Dishes are going, constantly going. That's the pork. I still can't get that one open. This is the rest of the meat. I can't get that one open. So we're in cleanup mode, and we're gonna keep cooking and canning as much as we can. All right, this is the pork that was in the Instant Pot. I would say we're good. That's beautiful. It's coming right off that bone. This is going to be shredded pork. Oh yeah. That looks wonderful. Okay. Oh, that was a good pull. Okay. We're going to can this up next. I think we're going to still use those large jars. Or the 24-ounce. Ooh, ping, there's success. Those 24-ounce jars. So, I got to go wash me up some more. Oh, this smells good too. Yes! Here is more of the jalapeno jam. It's very, very dark, but it is oh so good. There we have it. This is what 13.5 pounds looks like. Canned and ready to be put on the pantry shelf. Lost my mic at this point. Sorry about that. The pork came out and it turned out perfect. So good. Ended up with 3 quarts of pork, and we're just so glad we've got this on the shelf and it's easy to use. To finish using all of the jalapenos that we had stored in the freezer, we went ahead and made a very, very large batch of cowboy candy, or what you would call candied jalapenos or candied peppers in this situation. So we went ahead and finished using up all of the peppers that we had prepared. This project just came out of the blue because we had leftover cowboy candy brine or syrup, and we made one of the best hot sauces or barbecue sauces I've ever had. Here is the candied jalapenos or cowboy candy finished. They look so pretty. These are going to be Christmas gifts, so spoiler alert, you may get one if you're on our basket delivery list. So I'm so excited we got these finished and got all the peppers out of the freezer. All right, y'all, there we go. We got all that done today. Barbecue sauce, candied jalapenos, pulled pork, hamburger meat, jalapeno jam, and we were able to get our breakfast done as well as a bunch of bacon. So like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And until we see you guys on the next video, bye, y'all.